Hi, Matthias.
Hi.
Good to see you. Hey, um, this is the first time we're recording this week in AI, and I think there's a lot of cool stuff that happened this week. The biggest thing that I wanted to get your take on and really discuss was, OpenAI making DALL-E 2 available commercially for the first time. So what happened, if my understanding is correctly, is that DALL-E 2, which you can get into the detail on, basically allows to create images based on text input and iterate these images heavily. Um, and you couldn't use these images commercially until just a few days ago. Like you could create a photorealistic image or you could design art, but you couldn't use it for commercial purposes. And actually, OpenAI just said, yes, now you can. Yeah, you have to pay us, but you can. So I mean, this is like super exciting for me.
You could actually use it for commercial purposes already before, but there were a couple of them that was not allowed. So NFTs, as one example.
So now you can create NFTs.
Yeah, because now you will pay for the usage on DALL-E.
And it's basically on some credit system, right? So um, you get a bunch of credits for free when you start, and then you have to pay extra to use additional credits. But it's ultimately very cheap per image. It's like somewhere between 10 and 15 cents per image. So it's literally nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I think users that are already invited there will get I don't remember exactly, but 100 credits or something for the first month. And then I think all users will get 15 credits per month, if I'm correct, to use. So that's for 15 images. But this is also because they are trying to scale it up and it requires a massive amount of computing to do this. As you remember, I did some cats almost a year ago. Maybe we can show some cats here on the screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it required a lot of computing doing that because, and that was actually on the same model that is used for DALL-E, but with less training data. But yeah, it requires a lot of
Yeah.
computing to do it. And in my case, maybe OpenAI solved this some other way, but in my case, I needed them to also scale up the images once they were done, because you get like a 256 pixel little image there. But yeah, there is interesting that they are opening it up for people to use.
I mean, for me, is just one of the biggest seismic shifts that we will see right now will be literally people not needing to pay graphic. Like if when this information gets out, that's number one. Then second of all, they want to get 1 million people on it. Brilliant. Then I'm thinking, okay, the graphic design industry globally this year is $43.4 billion, right? $43 billion for graphic designers. And I think like I'm not gonna pay a graphical designer for designing, art or images or anything like that anymore. And definitely not gonna go to Shutterstock and ask for a photorealistic image anymore. I'm just gonna go to DALL-E and ask for if I need a plane in the background, like for anything, I'm just gonna go there and ask it, hey, give me a plane. Like because it's so much cheaper and I get exactly what I want and I own the thing and it's unique, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you this is one of the biggest things is like if you're using new images in a business, you want them to be unique because it's better for search, it's better for brand recognition, it's better for retention. Yeah, you don't want a stock image of a plane, that you can find on 100 different websites because people just get confused, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agree, and it's interesting to see where it will go over the upcoming months. I mean, there are still many areas to improve in it, and it's very generally trained also, so it may be not expert at anything specific. And then, of course, also the result can render really differently depending on if you manage to, say, hit a couple of keywords that really connect to cool images. So, if you write a purple cyborg bear or something, you will get a really cool purple cyborg bear. But maybe if you do some other color or another animal, it will not be the same style at all, because whatever it's connecting to in its training data probably have quite some purplish cyborg bears, or at least a couple of cyborg bears. But yeah,
Well, I
once
think
we get
yeah,
sorry. No, I think
no, go ahead.
once we get to the point where anyone just can both create the image, but then really just point and edit. So please change this, change the rims on this car. Let's change the color. So once you get there, it will become very, very powerful.
Yeah, I think, and we're gonna be. I think we should be, doing some DALL-E streams in the next few days. So if you're watching this, then tune in and you can actually have a look. And I will definitely want to have a play around because I have some very cool ideas that I want to implement about bike design, especially, and sailboat design and stuff like that. Like I'm super excited to try. I think that also it creates it connects to the other news this week for me that was really big, which was that the UK has introduced new regulation around artificial intelligence, and also the US is actually building like an artificial intelligence commission, right? That is now it has a US Chamber of Commerce AI commission, and it's it's chaired by Eric Schmidt, right? So it's ex Google CEO and ex Alphabet. Eric Schmidt is now the AI Chamber of Commerce chair, right? So it seems like this person might, that was responsible for creating a lot of AI. Like Google has created a lot of AI, and he was at the helm of Google when Google was turning into AI. Like he was very heavy for AI use. So US is regulating it with a top technology executive at the steering wheel, and then we have UK government introducing new regulation that are making the use of AI super simple. So when you then think about DALL-E becoming commercial, and then you think about basically the world's two biggest economies starting to use, or some of the biggest economies using it. I mean, for me, it's going to be quite game changing, yeah, because now you can use AI in your business, and you have to use it in a responsible way. Great. Now you have a commercial AI that you can use in your business. And now you can actually, as a graphic designer, you could potentially provide services based on DALL-E 2 to your customers. Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what is lacking there is API at the moment. I hope they will fix something that allows it. But for sure, a game changer overall. And yeah, all I'm waiting on is somebody to actually more narrow train this type of model. So let's train it on all the boat pictures that we possibly can find, or another specific area, maybe cars, because then it will become really, really, really good in these areas. And then I think it can actually be transformed into specific software. So maybe for shoe design or car design or something like that. Because now it is this general train. So it's like a little bit of everything you can possibly imagine, which give it the 360 thing, but not directly in. So yeah, I think as soon as people
Yeah, I don't. No, go ahead. Train it. As soon as people start to train it slightly more narrowly, we will see more commercial success with it.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was just thinking from this perspective, like, will we have regulation that governs the use of AI for job security? Because for me, like when the Chamber of Commerce is getting, excited about this, and one of the biggest tech employers is now stepping into the game as Eric Schmidt, stepping into the head of the Chamber of Commerce AI Commission, and UK regulating it in this way. I think like it can go both ways. It can say, hey, this is this great tool, you can use it, or it can say, hey, you cannot fire a person based on you introducing an AI. Like, like job security. Like in many countries in the European Union, it is illegal to fire people without reason. And is it reason that you bought a tool that can do some person's job? And this is going to be very interesting for me.
Yeah, but I mean, then that regulation need to apply to everything else. Like, go out and plow your acre by hand, then, because we could replace all your people with a machine or a tractor or something. And I mean, the same thing is happening here. It's just a evolution of things. We want to see computers like this super automatic thing, but it's never been automatic. And most people that will be impacted by AI, it's people that have a job where their job mainly are to take something from, they are given some blueprint or wireframe or vision from someone, and now they need to get a computer to do this by writing all these different commands and all this different code and so on. And that's simply because there haven't been any way to solve this. And that's why we also built up a massive economy around, developers or anything like that. But I don't know, like, if we can automate something, do we want to do it manually anyway?
I mean, I don't think we want to do it manually, but then you end up with stuff like subsidies for agriculture. Yeah. And because you don't need all these jobs, and because you have all of these machines, the government decides to subsidize a certain industry, like coal mining went through this. Yeah. And then agriculture went through this. Yeah. You have people, like a generation of people, millions of people, $42 billion industry, graphic designer, and they're going to get phased out in the next few months, maybe a few years. Maybe it's going to be super rapid. Yeah, like you said, like when the models start to get more and more advanced, and then it's super rapid, and you get all of these people out of an industry. They might protest. They might not want to get fired. They might not want to use AI. They might say, this is not a real art or real image. Like, this doesn't, imitate human quality. So I'm just wondering, like, will the government, I don't even think governments are thinking like this. They protected the coal miners, right? They protect agriculture. They give subsidies. Now, does this apply when you get a new machine and you don't need so many farmers? You get a subsidy. Same with fishing boats, by the way. Not enough fish. Yeah, you get paid as a fisherman not to go out and catch the fish, right? Right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get paid as a graphical designer not to go out and create images because AI can do it for you? Or do they not care?
Oh,
I don't know.
I,
It's an
I,
open question.
I think graphic designers still will be hugely relevant. It's just that their job will become a lot faster and more creative, and they don't need to, because it's like, you can jump into Photoshop and maybe do like something, and I maybe can do something, but we can't really do the advanced stuff, for example. We can't. So for people like us, it could help to edit photos and so on, but still, AI is kind of there in my world too. I mean, we need to remember, like, computers are utterly stupid. Like, there is nothing intelligent in this as of right now. It just helps us. It just shortcuts to execute commands. So yeah, either you can say it to someone, and we have that person in the middle that now gonna execute all the commands, or we can remove the person that execute the commands, because it makes zero sense to have it there. But yeah, it's tricky, the regulation, very tricky. I hope there will be no strange regulation, like I know European Union was talking about. You needed approval already before training AI model, which is not good. Because the problem, I think, is whatever geographic area that would go this direction would basically shoot themselves in the foot, because now we give all the competition just like free road forward. We want to do something good, but it will turn very sour.
Yeah, I mean, it actually connects to some other exciting news that happened this week, which is, there's a new large language model, right? The first multilingual open access language model, which was Bloom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what was interesting for me in this is that it was trained in complete transparency, right? So unlike other transformer models, maybe again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a black box. Yeah, like outside people don't actually know how how the black box works. Yeah, the people that at OpenAI or at Cohere or at AI21, they know because they have the code, but like outside people don't understand completely how the black box works.
Yeah,
and in Bloom it's different, right?
Yeah. So to correct there a little, I mean, the thing with the model that once you train it and so on, you can't really look at the code, because it's just created out of randomness and loopbacks of values and so on. So you can't really, this was not written by a person. Yeah, you can't really read the code. So that's kind of what people talk when they say black box. But I mean, what it comes down to is first of all, like the training data you use.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's so I mean, the training data in Bloom is transparent, and in other models, not really, right? So you don't know what goes into the black box. That's what I meant. Sorry.
I'm not sure. I mean, OpenAI was pretty smart when they started to do the first DALL-E, because they like simple trick, but like smart. Instead of like only going for all these data sets everyone else was using, they also downloaded a lot of images from the internet, where they actually read in the alt tag, which is a descriptive tag of a image, which really creates a large library of images we as people put online. Bloom is interesting. I actually did test it out extremely shortly last week. I was not impressed what I could see there. Using GPT-3 for the last 2.5 years, I think. I would say there is, and then the progress they had since then. So if we're looking at today's standpoint, I don't see anyone really being remotely close to their level right now. Of course, there is competition and catching up, and it's nice that Bloom can do all these languages and so on, but it needs to be good also and user friendly.
Yeah, I think they say it's 46 natural languages and 13 programming languages, and which is cool. It includes French, Spanish, Arabic, languages that are like 10, maybe 15% of the population fluently uses English on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, I mean, and then the rest has so many other languages out there. So it's definitely it's a first try. Yeah, they released it now. And I don't know, do you know when OpenAI released its first model? Or it was a few years ago, like GPT-1 or whatever it was. It was probably, it wasn't as good then, right? Maybe Bloom is comparable. It's going to get better, better, and better in this sense.
GPT-1 was a long time ago, and the real usability, I would say, started around the rollout of GPT-3, which happened about 2.5 years ago, if I'm correct. That's when it first came in the closed beta. But then they have improved it quite some since then. Because as you know, today in GPT-3, you can pretty much just describe in one sentence what you want and it will do it. Most other engines are not really there. You rather need to do, if this, then that. So you give it an example on an input, example on output, what you're expecting, and you keep doing this and you create a pattern that way. This was how GPT-3 was working also for the beginning of its life, so to say, for a couple of months before they added descriptive possibilities, so to say.
Yeah, I mean, my perspective on this is that, like I've seen GPT-3 used by people with limited capability of coding or knowledge of coding and a lot of domain expertise. And I've seen it used for use cases that are solving very much real world problems. Now, if other language models get to that level in other languages and are able to, do the same for the Arabic world or French world speaking countries, I think that's going to introduce even more innovation, even more disruption, even higher acceleration of new things coming out. So for me, that's what the exciting bit is, that people are working in a transparent, open way on models for different parts of the world. And I find that super exciting. And I've also seen that when they started Bloom, it was also connected with this responsible use of AI pledge, right? So they decided to make it transparent, but also commit to make it responsible, for people to use it. And I don't think governments will catch up to the regulation. I don't see it happening. I see they try, but I don't see governments catching up with the regulation. But people that create AI, they will create their own kind of, code of conduct, if you wish. They will say, if you want to use Bloom for Arabic or French or Spanish, then you need to use it in the right way. And DALL-E was very similar. Like, you couldn't use it for bad things, right? And you still cannot use it for bad things.
Exactly. And there is actually 3 months ago, Cohere, AI21 and OpenAI actually co-authored a post about responsible usage around language models. So yes,
and I mean, so that's what I see. Like, looking even just last few days, literally, we're talking about literally last few days, right? You see biggest governments going into regulating AI, new technologies in AI coming out, and they want to stipulate their own governance, and basically the most advanced technologies becoming commercially available. They are now becoming, like, literally going out and becoming commercially available. So if the regulator doesn't catch up, then the community will just make its own rules, and naturally look. And I think that's really cool. So for me, it was a super, super exciting week. I don't know if, there's a lot more other news that's happening, but I don't want the segment to run maybe longer than 20 minutes as well. So.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. A lot of things happening right now, and we will see where it all goes. The problem is when, say, governments or the opinions in AI are so many, they are so different. It's so easy to misunderstand what is AI today, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like HAL 7,000 or 9,000? I don't know.
9,000, HAL 9,000.
9,000, yeah. Is it that, or is it just like automation? What?
Yeah, is it maybe it's a hammer right now, yeah? It's a screwdriver, it's a tool, and it's just a better hammer every week, and you can hammer the nails in quicker.
Yeah, it's definitely. I often use the term pro-acceleration, which means acceleration of accelerate the acceleration of acceleration. So velocity, so to say, where you drastically speed up, and that's what I see is happening in AI, because every place in tech where we can put AI means that we are fastening up that process. So just like one example is Google, that I know. This is quite some old news. I can be a little bit off, but it was in the realm of, it took them about 1 year to design a new AI chip. But then they put an AI to design the AI chip. So now they could design a new chip in the range between a couple of hours to a couple of days, for example. So it's
I mean, I think that's like that kind of new technology, or when you build a new tool and you use that tool to build quicker, right? So then the outcome of you using that tool is going to be even better. So power tools coming up from the AI world, making them commercially available for everybody very soon. It's very cool. 1 million people is not a lot of people, to be very honest. Yeah, like even if you gave a hammer to 1 million people, you're not going to go to space, with 1 million people with a hammer. But then 100 million, 1 billion people using DALL-E at some point in the future is going to be very, very cool. And I'm super excited to see new software, new services built on DALL-E. I'm super excited once the API comes out. And overall, I think we're going to be having this segment every week now. So everybody's invited to join us. And next week, we're going to do a similar summary of very cool news. And we invite everybody to join us for next week. And it's going to be happening every single week. We're going to do a small summary of the news. So please join us and listen in. And if this week has been so exciting, I'm just super excited to see what's going to happen in 7 days.
Yes, exactly. I think we will do streams on Twitch on Thursdays, and we put it on YouTube and other mediums on Friday. Please give us your feedback, and we will slowly iterate our way forward to something.
Yes. And follow us, subscribe, and make sure to tune in on all the mediums, Twitch, YouTube, and everywhere else where you see us. Thank you.